Declan has gone through the full gambit of rehabilitative palliative care in a palliative care service, and he is really good at telling the story of what difference it made to him. So firstly, Declan, if you just give us a little recap on how did you feel when you heard the word palliative care, when the hospital said palliative care were referring you to the hospice? What did that mean to you?
Well, initially, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Initially, I had a bad dose of paranoia.
Do you want me to hold it?
Yeah,
That'd
sure.
be easier, yeah.
Basically, I wasn't that familiar with the term hospice, except that I was always linked to dying, you know. So basically, I also palliative care I associated with older people who were on the way out. So basically, I thought it was the end of the road for me, because at the time I was referred after my central nervous system failed chemotherapy treatment for metastasized prostate cancer. I was taken off Taxol and put on darolutamide, which is a hormone suppressant, but doesn't actually. All it does is maintain the disease. It doesn't do anything to cure it per se. It's not curable. Professor McCaffrey from oncology in the Mater referred me to the St. Francis A Centre. And I have to say, when I got there, I was met by a group of clinicians. Sorry, I'm looking at the mic. Yeah, sorry. But basically, we had a good chat, and I was very impressed with the kindness and professional shown to me. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous.
You don't have to be brave.
Okay. I just want to give an example of what the treatment did, what the hospice did for me with the treatment. Basically, I got several physiotherapy treatments from Bernie and occupational therapy treatments from Kira, which helped me get stronger. And I was excuse me, I was able to rejoin the treatment program in the Mater and received 6 doses of radium-223 treatment, which stopped the cancer spreading. Lucky for me. In order to qualify for this treatment, I had to perform several physical tests.
They were very enjoyable, I'd say, were they? I think Beth outlined some of them, all the sit-to-stands and the walk tests and things like that.
Yeah. So basically, I was constantly being monitored by the Mater, because they won't let you rejoin treatment programs if you've been taken off them until you prove that you can actually survive them, you know. So basically, in order, I'm just moving here and back. Okay, yeah. So Bernie actually showed me over 30 exercise routines, which I perform some each night, not them all. But this activity has helped greatly with my sleep patterns. I sleep too much. And I sleep like a log these days, but I have to watch out for snoring, because
Divorce is expensive. I think that's what you were saying.
I was going to say divorce is very expensive. So, okay, then I just come on to treatments I got in the St. Francis. I have to admit, I was cynical about some of these treatments, like reflexology. I thought was for the birds, you know. Like, but basically, it helped me calm down greatly, and I used to glide home from the treatment. Occupational therapy. Like I heard your comments there about people don't know what occupational therapists are. Well, I certainly do. But the OT helped me greatly in getting back to work after my discharge, and sourced an economic share through my work, which was incredible, because my work where I work is incredibly tight with finances. So I don't know how she pulled it off, but she did. I was introduced to meditation, which I thought again was for the birds, but I found very relaxing and very good for the stress. Like, okay, yeah. I have to mention the nurses because basically cancer brings its problems with pain, and the nurses regularly check my pain levels and prescribe pain management drugs which when needed. The nurses give me great encouragement and positive thinking. And then I'd like to say, I'm going through this fairly quickly.
So, Declan, just you brought us through brilliantly all the different disciplines and what they all did for you and how rehab affected you. So, from where you started, where you were in a really bad place and you didn't want to come into the hospice, and then you were discharged from the hospice and you went back to work. Yeah. So, you.
Like, I was absolutely amazed at the help I got in the hospice. And one reason I'm coming here today is I think the stigma of the hospice it has to be taken away from the day centre because it's a different set of roles, you know. Like hospice does a very good job in palliative care, but you don't want to, I heard this already today, you don't want to frighten a patient by mentioning palliative care in relation to death and other things that are around this subject matter. One thing I will say is that access to the centre, I was picked up most Tuesdays and Wednesdays and dropped home by volunteers. And we all be delighted to help as they benefit from care in the hospice themselves. So I was most impressed with the volunteers in the hospital.
So, Declan, what would you say to somebody who's in your shoes, who is being referred to palliative care and hearing that word hospice for the first time? What would your message to somebody like that be now?
Well, I just wouldn't take it on face value. You would ask a few questions, like what do physiotherapists and OTs actually do in the day centre, you know, before you'd write it off. Well, I'd say to anybody who's been anybody who's been diagnosed with a chronic illness should seriously consider coming to the hospice to deal with the mental side and the physical side of the problems you have when you are diagnosed with a chronic disease. And I would recommend anybody who receives that disease, any chronic disease, I should say, to try out a referral to the hospice day centre. It caters to all ages. And I met a patient who was 89, and he actually would pass for 60. He was actually fitter than I was. So
there was a fair bit of competition between the two of you, wasn't there?
Well, there was a fair bit of competition for jokes and things like that. Yeah. Actually, what I'm feeling here today is we went through a chronic. Sorry. You're doing great. You're absolutely nailing it. Yeah. Take your time. Yeah. Sorry.
You're fine. Get your breath.
Yeah. Okay. I'm back.
You're back.
I feel I've actually turned the corner because 2 years ago when I got this, I couldn't actually talk about it. And it does cause problems with your nervous system. You know, you definitely suffer from anxiety and other negative conditions. But basically, I have to say, positive thinking is the only way out.
That's great. I think we'll just have you one more thing to say.
I'd just like to say that overall my coping skills, although you wouldn't think it now, I've come in greatly and I feel good with myself. I'm a really revitalised man. Thank you very much.